field stabilized. Return of the heat. We gotta move.
What the what was that noise? It's February 7th, 2013, and welcome to State of the Game. I'm your host, JP McDaniel, and on the show, as always, we have Artosis, mOOnGLaDe, and QXC. I don't know what that noise was there at the beginning. I guess I'll have to look into the VOD later for that. But mOOnGLaDe, welcome back.
Hey,
I promised
we
would have you back on, man. What's been going on in your land since last week?
Not much. Just been pretty much just playing Heart of the Swarm. Enjoying it. Yeah.
I think
that's not what it sounded like when you were talking about it.
Well, let's wait till we get to it. And alright, I was wrong about the Ultras. I'm sorry, I didn't really read into that, but I'm sorry.
Man. You'll have to cut to the pregame show to understand what mOOnGLaDe's talking about. QXC, glad to have you back on the show. Last week you were a little bit sick. Hope you're feeling a little bit better now.
Yeah, everything's pretty good on my end now.
Good. And Artosis, a lot of things going on in your world as always. You're back from Taiwan. You went over there for a TT Esports trip. Was that your first time over there? What was the trip like?
I actually went to Taiwan like a year and a half or 2 years ago and checked out the TESL and stuff like that. And it was sick that time. It was even more fun this time. Awesome scene. And I get to design a mouse and keyboard, which are going to be the greatest things ever in the world ever. Because I actually know things about mice and keyboards. So
we talked about this last week. What was the actual process like for this? What did they...
So
did they like give you clay
down,
and you and Dan or you and Nick had to form it, or what was the actual process?
No, yes, I formed a mouse out of...
I don't know what the hell goes on. Like how do you make a mouse and keyboard, man?
Well, we sat down in a meeting with a bunch of their like, I don't know what you call them, mouse engineers.
Yeah.
And like the guy that runs TT Sports and stuff like that. And I basically sat there and like showed them stuff that was good and stuff that was bad and explained exactly what I want and just went over it a whole bunch. It was actually a lot of fun, and I'm really excited about it, man. It's like exactly the stuff that I've always wanted will be made now. They're actually going to make exactly. Well, we don't want to make the mouse too handsome. There can only be one of these, so no. But it's going to be great.
Nick's face on it.
Yeah, we might do that, but we don't want to scare too many children away.
So, I'm very curious. What was Nick's role? Did he do all the same?
Yeah,
thing?
no, he helped out on the keyboard, and he designed a headset for casting and gaming. So we have a bunch of really amazing, awesome stuff. None of the shit that you see with 48 buttons on it. Or
Wait, you didn't make an MMO mouse, man? How can I play World of Warcraft with your mouse, Dan?
Yeah, I don't know how.
What am I supposed to do, Dan?
Wait, you can't set up. There's no keyboard on the side of your mouse.
Oh fuck!
If you use the stuff I made, so.
Is there gonna be an actual caster headset, or is it just like a caster like a gaming headset?
It's going to be a gaming headset with like a really excellent mic that's reasonable price, so you don't have to buy like $1,000 Sennheiser, but it's better than, just the random gaming headsets you have now.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, that seems really nice.
When
good for streamers too, for sure.
Yeah, that's what we were aiming for, like the mid-range. You're coming up and you use your voice a lot, that type of thing.
To kind of in this whole thing that I'm not getting paid for. When will these be coming out?
Well, they'll all come out like kind of stifled because it takes a while to actually make brand new stuff, because it's not like we aren't just taking like models they already had and putting our names on them or something. It's completely new gear that's being made.
Okay.
And that stuff, I think the very first thing that'll be out will be maybe in 6 months about, and then
cool.
Within 8 or 9, everything probably will be out, but we'll see how it goes.
Cool. All right, well, let's jump into news. And guys, I'm just going to start with when LZ Gamer leaving LG is a big story for the week. There ain't shit going on in the world of StarCraft 2. And that is pretty much, we've got Twitch Turbo, we've got Huck calling out the community. MLG making some announcements, and other than that, there wasn't really all that much in the world of news. So, starting with Twitch Turbo, it was Twitch's new premium service they just put out for $8.99. You can bypass all the ads on the entire website, and it also funds, it also, when you're watching a stream, even if you have ad block up, the streamer still gets income from that person for watching the ad, like it would if you were actually watching the ad. So I just want to get everyone's thoughts on this and see what you guys think, because I'm basically everyone streams here. Dan doesn't really stream all that much anymore, but you have before. So as personal streamers, what do you guys think? QXE, we'll start off with you.
I don't know. This one is a little weird because I think in some ways it does cut into each streamer's ability to have their own personal subscribers. One of the big incentives for that, I think, and I'm not too familiar with the subscription service, is that people can bypass your ads, among other things. But I guess each person can offer their own unique thing, so in that regard I think it's okay. I don't know, it seems really interesting. I'm not really sure what to make of it too much because I'm not a person who watches streams. I'm more just a person, like I have my own stream, yeah, but I don't, like, they said Twitch Turbo came out and I was like, okay, cool. Does that affect me? I'm not really sure even.
Do you have a subscription button on your stream?
I don't right now. I'm looking into getting one.
Okay.
But it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, pretty much if you don't have one, then I don't think it's that. It actually probably helps you more than it hurts you by a large margin. mOOnGLaDe, what do you think about Twitch Turbo?
Well, it seems like it's kind of like an ad blocker, but you pay for it. And but probably the only thing. Oh, the good thing about it is the people, like the streamers, actually still get money from you for like watching their stream. So in a way, it's good for the streamers, but it's kind of a bit expensive. I feel. I don't know. That's just.
It's $8.99 a month, so not just a flat fee. Dan?
Well, it has to affect people that sell their own tickets, right? It just has to. Like, everyone has a limit to how much they're going to spend on StarCraft content. And, I mean, what's nice about it is, because if you have ad block on, the streamer doesn't get money if they would have viewed the ad, right? So I guess it helps in that way. So anyone with ad block that has a conscience maybe will go and buy this. But it has to cut into ticket sales somewhat for people like Grubby or like, well, whoever has the tickets they sell. I don't really keep track. Yeah, but the subscriptions, it has to cut into that because you're not going to buy that and 3 subscriptions or something like that. So it probably cuts into it a little bit, but maybe it'll help some that you know, some of the ad block guys will actually get it. But I don't know. I don't know like the numbers of how many people are actually going to purchase this, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I've been streaming and I watch probably, I don't know, 8 to 10 hours of streams every day, and I see a lot of the Twitch little turbo icons in pretty much every chat, Destiny's chat, any League of Legends chat, any StarCraft chat. GSL last night had a bunch in there, I believe. So I feel like sales are doing pretty good for it, but I think that. And I know that everything Twitch has said goes against this, but it's why would I subscribe to a channel for $5 when I can subscribe to Twitch for $9 and skip all ads on every site? You know, I mean, the other option is why would I subscribe to Twitch when I could just run ad block? But that's probably the.
I guess it's kind of a slippery slope, isn't it?
Yeah. And there's a Twitch TV mod in the chat. This is probably the #1 phrase from Twitch staff that I've heard. And in the recent user survey, 90% of people said they sub to a channel to support the streamer and not to block ads. I feel like with that, because I got the same, because I subbed to a couple channels, I got the same survey. I feel like had you have told what it was for, what you were actually surveying for, then people wouldn't have just been nice in that. They would have, I mean, the people sub to block ads. For them, I would say a large margin of people sub to block ads, but I don't have data for that, obviously.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there's both ways, but
yeah.
I guess the one way to look at it is with this, more so than before, the subscription button becomes a donation button.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Not completely, but
I would say
but
completely.
somewhat.
I think the only thing that Twitch Turbo does not allow that you get from a sub button is when you have sub mode enabled in the chat, which is kind of what I've done now to this during showtime. But the other thing too that I think is a good point, which makes me still not uneasy, but still I haven't swayed one way or the other, is that with this, it just makes Twitch TV a more sustainable business and solidifies kind of their state right now in this industry. Because at the end of the day, having your entire revenue based on ads is not a really good business model. So
Yeah, of course.
it's good that Twitch is obviously looking into other ways to kind of monetize this industry, and we'll see. I mean, they've said that they're going to be looking at all the data that they're coming in, and if they see that a large portion of subs are coming out, they've said that they can look at other things to kind of balance that for subs. So there was a very long post on Reddit if you want to go read more opinions on there. A lot of big streamers, I think, were posting in there as well, and a post on Team Liquid, I think, was also in there. Nazgul's post was actually pretty good if you want to go check that out. But other than that, Twitch Turbo, it's $8.99 a month. You can go find out more at, I don't know what the URL is. You can just click at the top if you're watching this on Twitch, where the browse button used to be, which is the most annoying thing to me, because I just have the muscle memory to click browse, but every time I click, go Turbo.
That sounds like they put it in the right spot, though.
I guess they put it in the right spot, yeah. They must have the data on that. Let's move on to Huck calling out the community. And I don't really want to talk about so much the fact that it was Huck calling out the community, but more so just how the community kind of treats its big names and things like that. And Dan, I think you kind of brought this up when we were chatting about what we were going to talk about on the show. So why don't you start off?
Well, I'm actually, normally I say kind of ignore when people are flaming you, because that's generally the right answer. I think Huck did the right thing here, because he's been getting so much hate, it's actually sickening. Like, you don't have to like his style, you don't even like to like him, but when every person is flaming him like shit because he gets knocked out of the hardest tournament in the world that everybody else got knocked out of,
Right.
I mean, it goes too far. And, you know, I mean, it's, again, back to that whole negativity in the community thing. And, you know, Huck had good points there where, you know, he won more games than Grubby, for instance. He got through up and down, whereas Grubby didn't win any games. And he goes on to say, look, everyone loves Grubby. Like, but when Grubby gets praised and then has to miss Code A because he's in another tournament, it's not, like, necessarily his fault. Like, the other tournament obviously meant more to him. I mean, and then you flame Huck, who shows up and then just gets beaten by, you know, legit top-end pro gamers. It's going too far, and it's to the point where it can affect his career. If you have everyone hating on him on the internet all the time, that's something sponsors are going to look at, teams are going to look at that. It's going to affect his future contracts. It's going to affect how much people want to even work with evil geniuses, perhaps. So I think it's good that he stood up for himself and kind of cleared the slate, and I think it actually worked well the way he did it. So, but that's people in this community love to watch stars fall. They just love it. Like,
Well, people in life like to watch people fall.
I know it's a sad thing, man. I want everyone to be happy and have a good time, but a lot of people want to see everyone big fall. Like, we saw this huge upswelling of negativity. Like, how long ago was it? Like 6 months, 8 months ago at day 9.
Yeah.
Because you got so big, and then, like, he did a few things that people were like, well, this isn't as good as it used to be, and they flamed the shit out of him. And it was just like what we're seeing with Huck right now, and it's, I don't know, it's sad and it's gross.
Yeah, I think that's a good summary of it all. mOOnGLaDe or QXZ, do you guys, I guess, everyone deals with this, but do you guys read into it, or do you just shrug it off?
I think you get too depressed if you care too much about what people think about you. I have never been a person for this kind of stuff, though. Like, all throughout school, I did my work, I played my games, and then I didn't give a shit about what other people thought of me or what they were doing. And it's the same thing here. Like, there's a lot of kids on the internet, there's a lot of adults on the internet. Everybody's got an opinion, but for the most part, I just don't care that much. It's not really important to me, and to be honest, I haven't really read much at all about this either.
Yeah, I mean, it stayed on the front page of Reddit, I think, for at least 3 or 4 days, which is kind of uncommon because that Reddit moves pretty quick. mOOnGLaDe, what do you think about the situation?
Yeah, it's pretty messed up. Yeah, and you do see it a lot, and I think it can really affect you if you go reading all the comments. If you're one of those curious people that got to go to Team Liquid and have a look at like the GSL thread after you've lost or some shit, you're gonna be really, really, really sad. So I think it's like you really have to censor what you watch if you're like a notable person in the community. I'm sure like Tastosis have done the same all throughout.
You can't be reading the comments of the armchair philosophers too often, man. It's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's really messed up and it's absolutely unfair. And I think it's kind of a thing maybe with evil geniuses too. There seems to be like this stigma about them that people seem to love to be negative towards them because they're like probably like the most successful foreigner team out there.
Mm-hmm.
So like they like attract all these trolls and like if something doesn't go right, then they're just gonna flame them for it. I'm sure.
That's a really good point too, because with evil geniuses, like it's basically kind of understood that they all make more money than pro gamers of similar levels on other teams. So I'm sure that there is some sort of animosity and jealousy, and like either from the people who actually think that they deserve that much money, or the people that think, well, you know what, Nanawa is my favorite player and he deserves that much, so I'm going to hate on the people who do make that much. And it's like kind of this short-sighted way of going about things.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good point. I'm trying to figure out how exactly to talk about this. I almost think it's good that people who are under such scrutiny like that kind of call out the community. I've done it in the past. I think Tasteless obviously did it when he was on Real Talk. Huck was definitely, I think everything that he said was very legitimate, and he definitely had the right to say that. But I mean, at the end of the day, like the number one response is, "Hey, you're on the internet." Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Pretty
it's like, yeah, you're on the internet, man. It sucks.
Well, that's where our lives are based.
Yeah.
To be perfectly frank, at least the four of us.
Yeah.
This is completely everything in our lives. So the thing is, you do have to keep up with what's going on. What is the public opinion about you? What there is stuff you have to keep up with, and eventually, I guess it becomes too much at one point. Like for the most part, I would say just always ignore it. But if Huck hadn't done this, the hate would have just continued. Whereas right now, he's got a bunch of like protectors out there now. When someone like stands up for themselves like that and makes all these good points, you'll have these people that jump up in threads and shut down like the Huck hate for a little bit, which helps out. It's like a funny way the internet works, but
yeah,
it's the way the internet works.
It's funny too because the community will. I mean, this week it's Huck. Next week, who knows who it'll be? They're very
Probably Huck again.
probably Huck again, but he's not playing, so they'll be out of their he'll be out of their minds. I don't really know who the hater is. Dan, your mic's fine now, by the way. You don't need to.
Oh, okay.
You can just ignore that comment. But yeah, I don't know. I guess this honestly comes up every couple of months. So I guess we'll just keep batting him down every couple of months, and then things will get back to normal for a little while, and then it'll happen again. Because there's no way to fix it, and you can't even moderate something like that. You can't just ban the people that do that.
You can't just ban
shit.
haters because the thing is they can have their own opinion, but the bandwagoning, like, you do need to shut it down every now and then, and he did a good job of that. So
Yeah.
whatever. As you said, this will happen again. Who's next? Who knows?
Who
It's
knows?
hard to say.
Who knows?
Everyone will have their turn.
Yep. Well, let's talk about something a little bit more positive here. MLG announced basically right when we went offline last week pretty much everything about Dallas. So first off, it's going to be a 720p stream. Pretty much everyone on the call knew what they were doing with their format, but we couldn't actually say anything until they announced it. So I'm glad that mOOnGLaDe and QXE are here because you guys are actually playing in this new tournament format. So mOOnGLaDe, why don't you kind of tell people what that is to the best of your ability, and I'll bring up a graphic here on the back so people can read through that, and then talk about the match that you have to play.
Well, actually, I'm afraid I don't know too much about the format. Pretty much all I really know is that SEA has a qualifier for it, and I've got to play Sen for it. That's pretty much all I know exactly. I'm sorry, I didn't really read the MLG winner thread
No, I mean
when it came out.
that's all it is. It's 32 players, single elimination bracket, best of 5s. It says and 7s. I guess that's later on.
I don't know where the best of maybe that's where the best of 7s come in, but I'm pretty sure all the rounds now are best of 5.
Yeah, I think it's all best of 5. For sure.
It's one of the strangest formats I've ever seen.
It is. It
So
almost is.
How do they choose like who's playing who? They just
It's
kind of chose people in the same area.
Well, it's done based on seeding, and it's separated into regions, and it's not just separated like NA, EU, Korea. It's like there's C, which is mOOnGLaDe and Sen, which I don't is Sen like is that really C for Sen? I don't
No, it's
I don't,
on fair, man.
server. That's just the server. So.
I don't really know geography,
It
but
should be
whatever.
Korea, I
And
think,
then there's
just
like another region is GSL Koreans. And then
Yeah,
another
ESF.
region is like KESPA Koreans.
Well, that makes
yeah.
sense when you think about it because MLG has a partnership deal with KESPA, and they don't want the ASF guys to like knock them all out or something like that.
Right. And
So,
but like
I mean-
I still don't really understand the seeding because I'm pretty sure that the people the NA seeding just doesn't make any sense. Killer is seeded number 1. I don't know if he's ever been to an MLG, and maybe people are going to be like, "Oh my God, QXC's been to 10 MLGs," but like, I honestly cannot ever remember seeing Killer at an MLG, and like you would really expect Scarlet to be the number 1 seed, and then for it to
Yeah.
kind of go from there, and that's so I don't know. It's a little weird. Apparently, also we have 11 maps in our map pool.
Yeah, so that was the other thing I wanted to bring up.
oh, well, only 11 maps. That must be fun to practice for. Okay.
So both players veto 3 maps. The map pool will be trimmed down to 7 for the exhibition tournament at the Winter Championship. So it almost feels like they didn't know which maps people wanted to play on because no one's actually tested this stuff in a tournament format for
Yeah.
HOTS. So this is kind of the testing ground, I guess.
I'm gonna try and not veto all the really bad maps to force my opponent to do it.
Yeah, that's a good strat,
So
actually.
you should check out my series whenever that comes around.
Who-
and get casted.
Who are
'Cause
you playing against, QXC?
I play
He
Killer.
plays against Killer.
Oh,
First match.
Dignitas Killer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Apparently,
whatever.
I'm the lowest seed,
Oh.
which
So what-
is.
I'm sorry.
So are you actually going to MLG, or are you going to do this online qualifier first?
No, I gotta play him. If I beat him, then I go.
Okay, yeah. Beats it.
Yep.
Gotta beat Sen. Gotta beat Sen.
So Adam Apsell is saying best of 7 begins in the semifinals, and they ranked every event in 2012. It's not just off of MLG.
Okay.
So
every event.
Wait,
Oh,
every
okay, well,
event?
every event, yeah.
And Killer's number 1?
NNA, yeah, I guess. He
There's
won.
a bunch
Did he
of-
win Latin America? I thought
I-
Major won.
Oh, from WCS. He won South America, I think.
Yeah, he won South America.
Okay.
Are
I'm
we
not
sure that he's number 1 if you rank every event? Because I don't know that he is.
Who would be number
he's
1
done
in
well.
NA then?
I mean,
Start-
that
I would-
fills in mOOnGLaDe and Sen, though, for that region. I guess that makes more sense now.
Mm.
And yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of events in 2012. It's pretty hard to go
Yeah.
back.
So Adam is now saying the biggest points were awarded to WCS by a wide margin, the
Oh, okay.
WCS finals. So,
Well, he did
Okay.
top 8 there, so I guess that makes more sense then.
yep. We figured it out, guys.
They should probably like post how the points were made though, because then you don't get people like us sitting around acting like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah. What do you guys think about the single elimination format and being best of 5? You think that's good?
You mean the qualifier round
Yes.
or the? Okay. Well,
It almost
It'll-
seems like to me it's a way to get rid of extended series.
That's
Hey,
always a good thing.
I don't really understand it, to be honest.
wait, is the actual tournament single lim as well?
I want to say yes, but Adam will confirm in just a second when he messages me. How it's going.
I have like a terrible truth
What's
to
that?
bring up for that these pro gamers are going to be very sad that I say, and I agree, I'm sad too, because I rather have it be a double limb, a triple limb tournament. Hell yeah, like that's as someone who loves StarCraft and loves to play and watches so many games, and used to play a lot of tournaments. That's what I like. But single limb is a better show.
Yeah,
Every
there's more on the
time for
line.
the audience, single limb is a better show every single time, unfortunately. So, I mean, and it's becoming more and more about the show and less about just finding the actual best gamer at a tournament.
Yeah. To me, I think the coolest thing that we're going to see at MLG Dallas is they know every single player that'll be there up until or at the entire event. So now they can actually make content and make the broadcast so much better than it has been in the past because they know every single player that's going to be there. They can actually have B-roll content prepared for these guys.
They've known for arenas and things like that.
They've known for arenas, that's definitely true. The big events, I mean, those things were always so hectic kind of in production row to begin with, though, that it was hard with the amount of people that we had at our disposal to kind of do everything there. But especially at the bigger events when you have that many people there and you don't actually know who's going to be in the finals or who's going to be in the top 16, et cetera, et cetera. That's what has me excited for Dallas to see really what they bring to the table when it comes to the production. But I want to go back to what Dan was saying. As pro gamers, what do you guys think about the single limb? Do you agree with what Dan said for it being better for the show?
I'm not really sure because I'd never look at a tournament as an observer.
Uh-huh.
Like, to me, a tournament is a way for me to get more information about matchups, and so I look at it for good matchups and good series. But I don't sit down and watch a tournament for the show. I don't take a day and like let's watch IEM. It's like the tournament is over, and that's when I start checking results and seeing what series are good to watch. So I don't really have an opinion on that.
What about you, mOOnGLaDe?
Sorry, wait.
Oh,
As
go
a
ahead,
player, I don't like single elimination.
Sure. I don't
It's
think
always
any
a
player would.
very frustrating format.
Right.
Okay. Well, obviously as a player, I'd like to get my money's worth when I'm traveling all the way to Dallas or something. So I really want to play at least 2 best of 3s or something. But
Is that what we call money's worth for a ticket that far?
no, not at all. It'd be like winning it for the travel time. But it's okay. I'll be settling with that double limb. But do you really think it makes for a better like showing as a single limb? Because I don't know, you lose a lot of storylines as if like just like 4 Protoss in the top 4.
The thing is,
That's it. You're gonna lose so many viewers because it's so boring.
If you look at the best way to make a good storyline, it's like nothing just pops up because the problem with double limb is you can't follow everyone. You don't know exactly who's going to get through. So you have like this great storyline you're building as you go through the winner bracket. Then suddenly it's like, oh my God, here's this guy that came from the loser bracket, and there's just nothing to go on. And
yeah, I guess it has to be really good coverage if you want to double limb, and it has to be pretty small.
And the thing is, at a tournament that big, you can't even give enough coverage to make it as solid a storyline as like just a single limb where you're following the top few players to go towards the top. Normally, you nail it, and you have most of the storyline everywhere, and that's just I don't know. I've talked with a ton of industry people, and all I do nowadays is commentate and make these storylines, and that's my opinion on that, man. I think that's part of why the GSL is really popular is that single like.
That's a good point. That's a good
Do you
point.
think it can be like a big hit and miss, like in a single limb? Like if it's like, I don't know, like all these players that like no one's interested in, or it's like they're all like the same race or something. It kind of like kills the tournament.
It definitely can, the single limb type thing, and that's why we've seen like a lot of invitational type things. And for instance, this was done by seeding, but let's say that they skip seeding. I'm sure that they would try to pair it up to try to get the right races in the right spots, and we've seen that before, man. Like how many tournaments have we seen, like the old IEMs and stuff, where it's all the popular players are playing a tournament sick, and then MC wins another or something. But
the other thing with double limb, and it happens the most at MLGs, is by the time like the semifinals have happened in the winners bracket, you already know who's going to win the tournament, because the person from the losers bracket almost never ever wins. And so it's like 3 or 4 matches before the tournament is actually over, you already pretty much know who's going to win. And then it's
the finals it's such a difference to come out of the loser bracket win as well. So not only do you have less storyline on that guy, but he's such an underdog going in. You're just kind of like, ah.
So,
Yeah.
what would you guys think? Dan, you mentioned the GSL kind of being the your preferred format. What if MLG went with something like that? Would that be good? Would that be bad? Would that take away from the GSL, or would it add to MLG?
What do you mean? Like just the single limb everywhere thing?
Well, basically, kind of how GSL does it, with how you have like the higher tier, the code S, the lower tier, the code A, and then you have code B when you're not in any of them, kind of the made-up community name, and then you have the structure where you have like up and down matches. So there's kind of a gate for the quote-unquote big-time pro gamers to get up into code S, etc. What if that moved over to the North America scene, and I guess kind of the European scene? Would that be a welcomed thing, in your opinion?
That's actually a really interesting question. I'm not sure. I've never thought of it like that. Like, it wouldn't take anything away from GSL. Like, let's broaden that question, because I want to hear what you guys think on this. Like, what if all the different areas basically had a GSL, where it is that gateway-based system, and it's done in the same format? Because there's a good amount of rotation, but you keep like a really exciting league and stuff. My very first thought is that would be pretty cool, but then I would miss actual just big marathon tournaments, because those have their place too. Like, as great as the GSL is and everything, I love the hell out of watching like a DreamHack or what IPL, MLG, IM. It's a different flavor, but I don't see why. I mean, that's such a great basis for Korea. Like, there's a ton of pros. It supports such a huge amount of pros because of those base leagues, and then they do the extra stuff as extra stuff. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, that'd be amazing if like Australia or SEA could have that kind of thing, like in everywhere, and it was all networked together, and then it'd be like a grand world final somewhere.
That'd be pretty
Obviously,
sick.
that'd be the dream, man. And if it paid out like GSL, and everyone could actually make money from playing,
Yeah.
it's like this perfect dream comes true. But
I would watch the
like
code
that.
S of every region, to be honest. That would be
that'd be
completely worthwhile.
really interesting. Watching them all go on to the world finals or something.
Yeah.
I'd love it.
QXC, any thoughts?
I'm thinking about the logistics of trying to do a tournament or something like that, and it doesn't.
Well, you have to have everyone living in the same area, which is why
Right.
Seoul is the
That's
Yeah.
that's the part that always got me when I was thinking about like why not have the GSL in the U.S. or anywhere else. Is Korea is just such a small place, and Seoul is the central location, and so you can put things in Seoul, and pretty much everyone has access to them. Or if they don't, they can move, because Korea is not that big, and you can move a relatively short way, and you can put all your pro gaming houses near the studio, and you can do all those things. And I just can't envision that working in the U.S., for example. Like, where would you put the studio? Where would you put all the houses? Where would you do all of those things? And if you don't try and have a local studio where you're playing matches multiple times a week, like the GSL, do you do it once a month, where you play like over a couple of days, and that's like all of Code A is played over a couple of days, and then next month it happens again? Or do you do most of it online? Just like, in terms of that, I'm not really seeing how it would work.
Unless there was someone willing to put up like a boatload of money, like what Riot's been up to, where they're just relocating everyone into a studio-based area.
Yeah.
Then I guess you'd have to do it online, like NASL or something like that. But even if it was done online, which I think NASL was originally supposed to be the North American GSL, but then people whined and complained and made them change it to have Koreans, and now we just have Koreans winning that every time. But imagine for a moment now that we have enough StarCraft and enough top players in every tournament, enough Koreans everywhere, let's imagine, just for a moment, what if we took NASL back to what it was originally intended to be, which is the North American Star League. I feel like that's, because I really
That
do
was my
like
next
NASL,
question.
and I like to watch it, but what if we turn that into American GSL, and suddenly we had, would you guys watch it? I feel like that would be really interesting content to me, because I barely get to see North American players play. And even if you mix in some Europeans, still, that's like, oh wait, no Koreans? I would love to see how these turn out, because you can't tell, because we always have these few wrecking ball Koreans bashing through everybody.
Yeah.
I feel like it would be kind of a novelty tournament where it'd be cool for like a week or two. And then after like those 5 days of just watching North Americans and Europeans playing in GSL on at night, people would be like, I want to watch some Koreans because they're arguably better at the game.
Well, they are, and I mean, there's something to be said about the best compared to very good, you know. And sure, that's true. But what if we did something like, now I'm like really going on a limb. I'm being like a fantasy nerd right now. Like, what if we took like the top two of the NASL and the EUSL or something like that, and the top one of the CSL,
The DreamHack.
Yeah.
SEASL.
CCL.
What if we took all of them and like they went into Code S or something? You know, I don't know, but it's cool to think about because I think it would be just so different from the content we have now that it would actually be awesome. It would be fun. I remember our little microcosms in StarCraft 1 where the Koreans weren't involved. It was like, okay, the North American scene has WCG. Let's see who can get through what. And that was really interesting, you know?
You guys have thoughts on Dan's fantasy here?
It just doesn't seem sustainable for kind of the reasons JP mentioned. I don't see because the content is so available on the internet. I have a hard time believing that people would consistently want to watch the not best players compete for a long period of time, especially when that league is basically specifically competing with a league that has the best players in it.
Right.
Because to be fair, you'll always get more personality out of that because it's just there's a different personality in the West than in the East. The Koreans speak a different language. It's harder to connect with them. I mean, what I wouldn't give for a Star League that has, Cruncher and Hydra both in the round of 32 group and then just all these little fun storylines, man, they would be good. They would be really good. And watching Mana lose to Nurchio again and just start crying in the booth and just all these, I don't know, there's some good stuff out there.
That's true.
I can watch endless StarCraft though. I'm not a good example, I guess.
If the storylines are produced, then it might be interesting, but so far it's been very few amount of organizations have actually done a lot with those storylines in StarCraft 2.
Yeah, that's true.
I know this is a StarCraft 2 show, etc., but take a day and go watch the LCS that Riot is putting on right now, because everything that they're doing is how it should be done. They took a film crew to one of the guys' house and interviewed his parents about it. That's actually amazing content for B-roll. And they're doing this for every one of their teams. Granted, it's a developer, they're paying for all this stuff. I know the excuses of why they can do this, but it's how it probably should be done all around. Getting off this tangent that we kind of got off the MLG format from, one last thing I want to ask about is it too much broadcasting for MLG with their broadcast schedule?
What is it?
Is it Monday through Friday? It's February 4th through March 8th, each weeknight in select Sundays at 5 p.m. Eastern.
Oh, those matches.
Those best of five. So it's one best of five, yeah.
You will never hear me say that is too much content because I am watching all of them.
Yeah.
Why would it be too much? I don't know. It's a best of five each night.
Yeah. And the big draw is that they're playing Heart of the Swarm. So you get to see, it's probably the best place to watch Heart of the Swarm right now in terms of raw talent.
No, I just started Heart of the Swarm 2 days ago. And my first day on the ladder, I walked away with pudding in the bottom of my skull because I was like, what are these units doing? And, then the next day I caught up a little bit and
there's a new patch.
Started watching. So.
That came out earlier. We'll talk about QX.
But what I'm trying to say is the MLG matches I've been watching, it's helping me to be that's what the Void Raid does now. Okay, because I'm behind because I've been playing a lot of Wings, but I don't know. I'm happy that they're doing that.
Okay. mOOnGLaDe or QXC, you guys probably don't watch. I know QXC doesn't watch.
I
watch for Terrans.
There you go.
I'd probably watch for Zerg specifically, but if there was a good matchup, I do respect the other races to a degree.
And
Oh, that's
In Heart of the Swarm, it's a bit iffy.
as far as I know, I'm sure I'll get corrected here on Skype, but it's also free 720p, if not 1080.
That's
So you can just
Yeah,
watch
the VODs
it.
are pretty good quality on their YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And all the VODs are on YouTube, I think, pretty quickly after they air. So that's good. It's good to hear. Some other stuff, real quick. They announced their kind of what's it called? A floor. What am I trying to say here? The way that the venue's going to look. What floor plan? That's what it is. Did you guys have a chance to check that out at all? I'll try to bring it up here on the stream.
Alright, I had a quick look at that. It looks pretty funky. Call of Duty, I don't know. But yeah, it looks good.
Oh,
Wait,
that was
what?
good. He was just like, Call of Duty, I don't know. But let me bring it up here for those that haven't seen it on...
It's got Eye Reverse Flash going on. It's pretty cool. Pretty interesting game.
Yeah, I wonder how close to this it's going to actually look. That's what I want to know. I do like, Dan, I don't know if you've seen this yet, but they have, instead of the casters being behind closed curtain and all that stuff, they're now up on towers and kind of in the center of everything.
Wow.
So
Well, I mean, I prefer behind closed curtains, but whatever. You
you
know,
have to climb to get up there.
So in the old MLG, they had stairs.
zip line.
Yeah, they had stairs going up to it. You can't tell in the render. I would assume they're gonna have stairs or some shit to get up there.
Maybe jump jets.
Maybe jump jets. You never know. You never know.
Casters are now reapers.
Exactly. So it should be pretty cool. We'll have to see. Obviously, when all this really gets laid out in Dallas for the first time ever, to really get a good idea of how it'll fare. So then earlier today they announced Anaheim, so MLG is going to be back in Anaheim. That's pretty much all the MLG news this week. Why don't we take a break real quick? We'll come back and talk about some tournaments going on, GSL round of 16, talk about some players dropping down to Code B, how Stefano played in last week's Code S, as well as a favorite player of the GSL now in Code B. So do not go anywhere. We got more State of the Game coming up in just a little bit. Wrong song. All right, guys, welcome back to State of the Game. Let's talk about some tournaments that have been going on. Only really tournament going on has been GSL, so we could talk about it. Round of 16 started last night with Group A, DRG versus Bomber, Tasia versus Innovation. I watched these games live last night, and Dan, it seems like you guys could not get enough of Innovation.
Who can get enough of Innovation, JP? That's a real question.
So this guy was pretty much just on fire last night. I mean, Dan, you talked him up all night, so what was he doing so right?
Well, Innovation, hold on, I don't want to just... He might have the best mechanics in the entire world. His multitasking, I don't know that Gumiho is actually better than him at that. The kid just knows what to do and how to do it, and then he does it, and it's fantastic. It's watching a StarCraft 1 Terran, like, play StarCraft 2 and know what to do. It's just fantastic, man. We're going to have a whole bunch of these Innovation kids in a couple months here. It's going to be, QXC is going to be happy because there's going to be plenty of Terrans winning stuff.
Is he your pick to take Code S for the Final Wings of Liberty? Code S?
I actually said last night, and I'm going to hold myself to this, the only people that can beat Innovation that are left in this tournament, and who knows if they go to the round of 8, Squirtle and Life.
Okay.
That's
it. Not even MC after how much he was talked up?
No, MC is not going to beat Innovation, unfortunately. Like, the way that this kid plans for matches, like, this kid knows how to play in a best of 3. He's from Kespa. They will study every player he plays and know exactly how those players play. But you can't outplan Squirtle in TVP. You cannot do it, and Life is just something else. I don't even understand Life, so... those are my picks, man. Those are my 3 picks right there. Well, not to... Yeah, those are my 3 picks. I'm not going to...
You're not even going to argue anymore.
That's...
No more arguing with yourself,
Innovation
Dan.
is sick. I want to hear what you guys think about Innovation, how fucking good he is.
Well, this might be interesting. I don't know if you'll hear that. GLaDe, did you have a...
The VODs have been down, so I haven't been able to watch the games.
You should watch it live, QXC. Set your alarm. What are you doing not getting it before it?
I was asleep.
Exactly.
I was extremely asleep.
Did you have a chance, GLaDe, to watch him?
This was Innovation versus Stefano.
Well, I mean, that game's... You could talk about that, too.
I watched those games, but...
That was last week, yeah.
We're talking about last night. Innovation versus Dongregu, Innovation versus...
Right. No, the Innovation games against Dongregu I missed, unfortunately. I only saw the Dongregu versus Tasia final match, which was really sad. But, yeah, I have seen Innovation play before, and yeah, he is really impressive. And definitely the future of Terrans, now that MVP is gone.
Yeah, it's a sad thing.
Sad day.
It is. QXC, do you have any thoughts on Innovation?
I think he played... I was really impressed by his play against Stefano. I was actually more impressed with Stefano than I was with Innovation in a lot of ways. And I just feel like Stefano is really strong in TVZ. His strategic understanding and his strategic depth of knowledge in the matchup is something that it doesn't feel like the Korean Terrans really get. But Innovation's choice of builds and his mechanics and multitask really sealed the deal more than anything else. I really feel like if Stefano was a Kespa player, if you took his understanding of the matchup and the way he approaches the games and you added a more rigorous approach when it comes to series, then I think he would have beaten Innovation. Actually, no problem.
Do you agree?
That's interesting. I want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead. That's what I was about to ask.
In Kespa, they like beat that out of you a little bit. Like they basically deconstruct you when you get over to a Kespa team and build you back up as a mechanical player because the mechanics are so powerful. But so like it's funny that you say that because what gives Stefano so much strength, like his personality comes out through his gameplay. You know what I mean? Do you agree with that? Like
I mean, he just does whatever he wants, which is kind of how he acts.
And like,
sure.
Yeah, I know. There's something to that. I know it sounds mystical and magical and shit, but there's something to that. And like Stefano, I don't think is a player that could ever in a billion years join a Kespa team, which is like being on a Kespa team and being forced to play 16 hours a day and do the same thing over and over is like what makes those mechanics.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. Maybe it's possible. The thing is, it's give and take. Like he's more creative in certain ways and like more outside the box thinking and all these things that help him win games. But that's the opposite of what like a Kespa is. A Kespa is a mechanical god where this is a robot and the robot doesn't fuck up because he's programmed to do this correctly.
There you
Well,
go.
I think you know more about Kespa than I do, but I will leave you with this thought is that I think if Stefano would have just chosen different builds more than once in the 5 games he played against Innovation, he would have had a extremely strong chance of making it out of his group.
Mm. Too predictable then.
Yes.
Well, when you watch the VODs from last night, you're gonna, because I watched that and yeah, Innovation didn't actually impress me as much as he has before in those sets against Stefano. But last night he was God mode. It was gross.
Last
I'm
night was
excited.
pretty crazy.
Whenever
You sound excited.
I am excited. I assure you.
I also want to say, for those that can't watch the GSL because it's on in the middle of the night, they actually did a rebroadcast today, and I hope they continue this. Because for Americans, it comes on, at least for me, it's at 3 a.m. I'm usually up, but I probably shouldn't be. So I can watch it in the afternoon now if I'm up then. But I think that if they continue to do that, it's actually going to do so much for the GSL. Because I really wonder how many people don't watch the GSL because of the time that it's at. And how many people do not buy the VODs because they're so expensive.
It has to be some number, like some.
Yeah, I mean, there has to be a large
number.
percentage. Yeah.
Like, it is at a ridiculous time. You'd be unbelievably surprised when I ask people if they watch live or they watch VODs, how many watch live. But
yeah.
I
mean,
it
last
has
night
to
on
be.
Twitch, you guys had, like, even though it's blocked, you could still see it. You guys had, like, 14,000 watching. And this is in the middle of the night, so.
We have.
All the Aussies.
We still have. You can still watch it on the GOM player, right?
Yes.
When you watch live? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's not just a weird looking Twitch
And
embed that I watch Code on.
That no one has ever seen numbers for the GSL because
Yeah.
you can't actually see the numbers on GOM.
They're good. Trust
So,
me.
well, I mean, they're obviously good because you guys are still doing it, right?
Yeah.
So it's cool to have it on Twitch, and it's cool to have it rebroadcasted. I think Fishsticks is actually the one responsible for that, so huge shout out to him. Tonight in Group B of the round of 16, Squirtle, Symbol, Marine King, Sulky. Dan, you've already said Squirtle's your top 3 here in Code S. Who's the other one to get out?
Squirtle, Symbol, Marine King, Sulky. I think Sulky.
Yeah, I agree with Artosis.
Yeah?
I agree too.
I expect Sulky to make it out.
And
Absolutely.
Squirtle for the rest of you?
Yep, I think so.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Poor Marine King, guys.
Poor
Does no
Marine
one think
King.
Marine King's finally going to win a GSL?
Oh, man. When is Group C's next week, isn't it? Yeah, we can talk about the other groups next week on State of the Game, I think.
When are we doing? Oh, yeah, we're doing it earlier next week?
Yeah, we'll do it on Wednesday
Okay.
next week. But we'll get to that towards the end of the show. So some other stuff here. In Code A, we had Grubby was in the up and downs, right? And he bowed out because he had to go to the DICE event. Is that what happened? Do you know for sure?
Yeah, he is.
Assuming so.
Yeah, he had another foreign event. I know he's going to the DICE event, but isn't that going on like this weekend?
I think there were some
I think
matches
so.
being streamed earlier.
Yeah, a lot of the matches have already been played.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, he had to drop out anyways, so.
Yeah, so that's too bad. So with Huck being eliminated against Shine 2-0, there are Stefano goes to up and down. Is he the only foreigner left?
Yeah.
And then the other big news this week, which QXC mentioned, is MVP is now out. Marine King, the only player to have been in to still be in the GSL every season. So he's
Yeah.
still got that,
And,
Dan. He doesn't have a win.
No, that's true. He has all these other funny records.
Yeah.
But there has to be a shout out to Genius, who just fell out for the first time as well.
Oh, really?
And,
Oh, yeah, he lost to
Genius's run is actually more impressive than the other two because he was in season 1 of the open season
Ooh.
and never fell out until just now. So Genius had the longest run, unless Marine King goes one more season, I guess, right?
Well, he's going to, isn't he? Because he's in
Oh yeah,
Code
because
S.
he's going to land in Code A. So he's at least tied with Genius? No, that means... Wait, no, he's either at least tied or he's now taking it from Genius.
Was Marine King in the first season?
No, he came in
I don't-
second season.
Yeah.
He
When he
got-
got to the finals against
Yeah.
ST.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember what season MVP came in. Was it third? Fourth? Fourth season.
sure.
First real season of Code S, I believe. So, but damn, Genius. Ooh. How many Void Ray All-Ins did he have to do?
So many.
So many.
Wait, so Dan, I'm confused. Is the round of 32 up and down now? Or do you go into the round of 32 if you get last in your group in Code S?
Oh, okay. You mean the bottom round of Code A?
Yeah.
Bottom round of Code A is for the person who gets last place in the group, or it has been. We're switching a few things, but I think it's still exactly that for the
Okay.
first round. Yeah, so the first round, if you win that, normally you get right into Code A, whereas if you lose, you're in Code B and you're basically gone forever.
Okay. Okay. God damn, this confusing format. Maybe
No,
we shouldn't
it's-
bring this shit to the North America people, man. This shit's too confusing. It's way too confusing. What else? We had Stefano losing Code S. We mentioned that. And MVP losing Code A. That, I guess, is all the tournament talk. Is there anything else you guys, GSL-wise, want to bring up? I don't really think there's anything else to mention. You got 5 seconds.
There's really no other tournaments going on, just GSL right now and that
Yeah,
MLG stuff we already talked about.
Yeah, and then March hits, and it's like fucking huge-ass tournament after huge-ass tournament after huge-ass tournament after GSL Code Finals after huge-ass...
Wait, they announced some stuff about the release thing, right? I saw that on
Did
the
they?
Blizzard site.
Did
Yeah.
they?
About the HOTS release event.
Oh yeah, like show matches and whatnot happening around the world.
So
That is-
mOOnGLaDe, who are you playing for that Australian one? I wonder if you're gonna be there. Wink, wink.
I don't know.
Dan, where is this at? Is it on BattleNet, I guess?
I think it was on BattleNet, right? Like
Let's go
I
look.
saw it on Reddit a couple days ago.
Yeah, it was on announced on BattleNet somewhere. I forget the links, but yeah, it looks like it's going to be really cool. Like a worldwide kind of release with lots of launch parties and stuff. And
Are they all going on at exactly the same time?
I don't
think,
know if this
uh,
information's out there
I
yet.
don't know.
It is out there, JP.
Yeah, it's out there. I've seen it.
I'm like, guys,
Things I don't know what I can say
guys.
because I don't remember what it said. So
Yeah. No, I'm the same way. Go look to see what's going on with the Heart of the Swarm launch event. Let's just say that, because I don't know where the actual information's at.
Well, it's like there's going to be events in various places around the globe with some pro gamers and commentators there and stuff. It's going to be really cool.
Jesus,
I'm
I hope
sure
this
it's
got
blood.
announced. Otherwise,
It
shit.
got announced.
I got some more info about it. Apparently, like they launch one after another. So like when the Australian one finishes, for instance, you
that's
switch to
awesome.
the next one, sort of thing.
Oh my god, that's like a huge amount of content. That's so awesome.
So it's like a 24-hour launch party. That's pretty
it's gonna
cool.
be
Whoa.
Yeah, that is
That'll be
so
cool.
sick.
And you get to watch people all around the world do it? That is so sick.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Blizzard's a pretty smart company, guys.
Blizzard. Oh.
I don't know if you knew that. All right, here we go. Finally,
Oh,
someone
that's
linked
so
to the chat.
great. Damn.
Let's bring this up on the screen.
Thank you, Maynard.
Heart of Swarm launch events. We've got Australia, which is
Yeah.
in Melbourne, Federation Square. Oh, the players are question marks. So are the casters.
Who are they?
One of them's got long hair. I wonder who it could be.
Someone.
I don't think they did the question marks that good, JP.
Oh, they did. You can tell
Did
that.
they?
You can tell, yeah.
Link me.
So that
Link me. I
would-
wanna
No,
see.
they did. Damn, they're all just like the same silhouette. So one in Korea.
Silhouette.
So I guess it's going Australia, then Korea, then Singapore, then Taiwan, then France, Russia, United States, Brazil, and Mexico. I guess.
Yeah.
Awesome. That is going to be so much fun.
Can't wait.
3 casters for NA. Probably, I would reckon they're NASL people. I would reckon. What
Is that
about?
what you would reckon?
That's what I would reckon.
Just server and like flying
Holy
back
crap!
somewhere.
There
They
are
can do
more
the whole-
casters in France than there is in players. What? There's 4 players and there are 7 casters going to France.
Well, that would make sense if they're going to do multiple languages.
Okay, that's a good point. That's a good
Are there
point.
little question marks for the orchestra?
No, man, you guys better. Whoever's putting this on, if you don't have the orchestra, France will not
Yeah.
like
They
your
won't
event.
show up, dude.
They won't even show up to your event. Well, cool. I'm glad all this got announced. I can't even believe that we're like a month out from Heart of the Swarm hitting.
It's scary.
It's a little bit scary. It's a little bit scary that that StarCraft, as we know it, is about to get completely screwed up. And I guess that's the best way to kind of lead into our next segment, rather, as we've all played Heart of the Swarm now for quite some time. So, Dan, I guess let's start with you, because I know you've been playing a lot, primarily the past couple of nights. So, what do you think, man?
It's so much fun to finally play this. Some of these units are blowing my mind, man. Like this Oracle thing, I have so much fun with. See, I just started, so I'm like, I start off with my placement matches. So I just do things like build 4 oracles and see what I can kill with them, which is everything. It's pretty neat.
You just win the game.
Yeah, man, you just fly around with oracles and like, I'm like targeting down hatcheries and stuff. It is wild. And then the Widow Mine will like just kill them all in one shot almost. And
Yeah.
that's scary.
And I also got it buffed today, Dan, so it does 35
Dude.
more damage to shields.
Oh yeah, the Widow Mine. That's kind of neat. We can talk about that in one second. But
Yeah.
my initial thoughts: Mutalisks are fast, and Phoenix Harassment is now 100 times better with that one range. I never knew that one range would make that much of a difference. Like, I don't give a crap about spores, man. I will grab drones from the corners of your peon line all day long. It's like your overlords can't even get away. Like I don't think it's even. You're gonna have to spam right click over the spore or something to stop me from killing them. It's crazy. I'm having a lot of fun with it though, but I feel like I'm not seeing the new Zerg units all that much. I don't know. Tell me if I'm wrong. At least in PvZ, I haven't been playing the other races yet. I'm gonna do that this weekend. But in PvZ, I have not been seeing effective use of Swarm Host or the Flying Defiler thing, Viper.
The Viper.
Oh.
What do you have to say about that, mOOnGLaDe? Is there an effective use of the Swarm Host?
Swarm Hosts. I haven't found that many uses for them, to be honest. They're a little too weak at the moment. They're, I don't know, I just don't like the way they are in general, having to spawn units, these weak, or semi-weak ranged units that get shut down, and once they're shut down, like, Swarm Host is just completely defenseless, and it's kind of just, I don't know, I haven't found that many uses for it, but to be honest, I haven't really been experimenting with them enough.
Hey,
The Viper, on the other hand, is extremely useful.
Danny, put your hand up. What's up?
He got me excited about something. Time Warp is neat, man. I can't wait to figure out how to use that thing right.
Dude,
That thing
Jesus,
is so
anything.
cool.
Immortal
Just
all
use
in,
anything.
Time Warp, no problem.
No, I know. I've been watching some matches and stuff, and by the way, PvP is a screwed up matchup now.
So,
oh my
Dan,
god.
let's talk about this build that I was telling you, Dan, the other
Yeah.
day. I was like, yeah, this works every. It's fucking terrible. Like, what? Did you have success with it? Did you try it at
No,
all?
I didn't even do it, man.
I don't even know what to do in that matchup.
PvP?
Yeah,
It's Blink Stalker plus that Mothership Core, man.
is it?
Because it's like Blink Observer, but
Oh,
1,000
someone
times
did that to me.
faster and more powerful. It's actually kind of silly. You fly it over. It basically sentries don't do anything now in PvP, which is silly, and then you just time warp other shit and blink up and kill them, and it's like, okay.
Did you
That's neat.
encounter any DTs now that it's 150 for the shrine?
Yeah, but I get there with my blink right.
So it doesn't
It's
matter.
sick, man.
It doesn't matter.
I don't know if there's anything else you can do. What is this guy gonna do? Go Immortals? What? Come on.
Yeah.
You went Immortals, and I'll probably be one of those idiots that fucking I'll go Oracle or something and just fly in and kill them anyways. I don't know. PvP is kind of messed up. But let's talk about the patch. I want to talk about the patch with these guys because they don't want to hear my newbie ramblings of just starting and playing 20 games so far.
No, it's fine, man.
Let me bring up the patch notes real quick. If someone else has them open, feel free to start. Actually, I know one off the top of my head. We'll throw this to mOOnGLaDe. They moved Overlord speed to tier 1 now, which was announced
cool.
earlier today. So
Wait, how much does that
like
cost
that.
right now, though? I heard it. Is it an increased cost to 100? Or is it 50-50?
It wasn't it always 100, 100?
100, 100.
I think it was
Wait,
always
no,
100.
Wait a
100.
minute.
Yeah.
It was never 50-50.
It was never 50-50?
Might have been once upon a time, but I don't remember that time, so 100.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways.
It's cheap enough anyway, and I think it'll be very useful. I think it'll be very helpful.
But think about the way you're playing the matchups right now. How often are you actually going to get it before layer? Like, is that something you're going to invest in? Oh, 50-50 is the Overseer. Okay, that's what I'm thinking of. I'm like,
Yeah.
normally when I scout, I only spend 50 gas. But, okay, so how often are you actually going to do that at 100 gas, 100 minerals?
I guess the thing for me that, and obviously I don't play Zerg, is once you get layer tech, your most cost-efficient scout is just an Overseer. And so this has to be, you have to be getting this upgrade even before you start layer, I think. I'm not, let me check how long it takes to research the upgrade.
It's pretty fast.
Yeah, it's actually pretty fast. I think it'd be very useful to figure out what Protoss and Terran are doing. It's always like a tricky thing to figure out if they're going mech or if they're going bio or if they're doing a fire bat drop, which will kill everything, or
You like see
Alright,
pretty
let's-
much everything.
I want to
before it
talk about
comes.
that as soon as we get off the patch changes, because
I think it's very useful. I haven't had a chance to play it since it just happened this morning or something. But yeah.
Now,
I think
tell
it'd
me
be
if
very
I'm
useful.
completely off, but when I saw that and I first thought about like Zerg build orders and matchups and stuff, ZVZ is the one that hit me the quickest, as this could be very, very good here.
Oh, that's a good point.
And I don't know if I'm right there, but like the thing is, like, so many builds and timings in ZVZ are based off the fact you can't know, like, is he doing a weird, like, mass ling in his main and run out with speed, or is he doing this weird roach timing, but now you can, like, scout that in 2 seconds, and, like, I feel like that's going to make, like, maybe the symbol Hyun ZVZ style a little bit better, but
So
that was
Yeah, I agree. I think it'll
Numbers?
definitely have
numbers
some
for
effect.
reference. The Overlord speed upgrade takes 60 seconds to research, and layer takes 80 seconds. And the other thing to note here is the Overseer takes 17 seconds to research. So even if you start your Overlord speed upgrade and it finishes right when your layer finishes, you still get a speed Overlord 17 seconds faster than if you were to morph an Overseer. So it seems, I mean, does it fit into builds, mOOnGLaDe? Like, do you have 100 gas to put into this?
It's a bit iffy. I think against Protoss you could probably get away with it. I mean, you get a slower layer, so I mean, you'd probably be a bit more bad against like timings of like Linkstalker or Mortal Lens or something 2 base. But I think it'd be still fairly worth it for the most part.
What about, on this same topic, I know this isn't a new thing, but the pre-layer...
Doesn't matter. Let's just talk about
burrow?
it, man.
Yes, that's what I'm going to do.
Good.
The pre-layer burrow, are you actually finding any real timings for that, aside from wonky Protoss rushes that you're trying to stop?
I think like it's good for like stopping expansions with burrowed lings, but honestly, it's not that useful unless you're doing something very roach heavy or like bailing bombs. But no one's going bio at the moment anyway, and bailings don't do anything against Protoss, so it's not that useful.
Definitely works well. I think it works the best with roaches. It's like the most obvious way to use it.
Right.
Yeah, it's a lot better, but tier 1 roaches against what? It's not going to be very useful.
It's. I was thinking about Baneling bombs the other day, and I realized that no Zerg I played so far has tried doing that.
Yeah,
I don't know how worth it would be. It's just I haven't seen it.
I don't think it is. Yeah.
It might just be a gimmick you can do like maybe once in a match, and then the next time your opponent's gonna be like, I should probably see if there's banelings here.
Well, it was a very time and place thing back in Wings of Liberty when you could just mutiling Bane and you could drop Banes everywhere to give you advantage and awesome kills. And now it's too early for that kind of thing. I think you got to use your gas elsewhere.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Hmm.
Dan, what do you think about Envision, the ability to give sight on the Oracle being increased basically
Well-
100%, 30 to 60?
That's they should make it better because every time I make an Oracle, I just want to kill shit with it. So I
So they gave it another overpowered ability, so it's like, huh.
I
Well-
haven't used Envision yet. You know this. I actually
How does
just-
that, does anyone
is
know how it works?
Envision the one that
I
gives
know how
you
it works.
cloak detection, or is it the one that scans or something?
No,
like
it's-
which?
it's-
Gives you everything. Like if it attaches to your unit, you can see everything.
Oh
in
wait,
that
you
unit.
put it on a unit?
You
Yeah,
cast
yeah.
it's got like a huge
Power
area of effect, and every unit that's hit by it, you get vision of for
I'll tell you what,
now
I'll tell you-
60 seconds.
Freaking
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wait,
it's pretty good.
Like, can I like throw this on your stupid
Brood
little
lords.
mech army or something? And,
Sure.
Like,
Yeah,
create
I mean-
brood lords, and it like follows them around, like you split them, and I can see them.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
get vision of each individual unit until the spell
And you
wears.
just tempest
What?
them until they die.
For a
That's-
minute now. For a minute now,
Yeah.
Dan.
For a minute?
Yeah.
Oh, this
It's
is.
really strong.
I have the sickest strategy. Okay, hold on.
It's like a 60
Dan's going into his old man
effect
pose where he puts his hand on
If-
his back. He's like, oh, guys, think about this strategy.
If I use that, so let's say you have a clump of brood lords, right? And I throw that on them.
Yep.
And then you see a high Templar coming. You're going to split those brood lords and run them in every direction, right?
Uh-huh.
So I get a free scout of your whole base. Look at that. Sick strategy right there.
You could just use the ability to get vision and then kill them with Tempest.
Yeah,
God,
seriously.
oh, look at you. That's
No,
much
no.
more realistic.
That's already happening. It happened to me yesterday. I got my whole Broodlord, Corruptor, Infestor army with that shit that reveals everything. And then, like, he just sat from afar and tempest me, and I couldn't go near him because he'd storm me or, like, anything
Oh,
like
man.
I
that.
love that. I'm not
Dude,
attacking the Oracles
I was
anymore.
actually-
How much does that cost? How much energy?
Envision?
Uh,
I actually got it open right now. It is 50 mana. Or 50 energy.
I can start with that.
Why would you? But you probably just want to kill things. initially.
No.
Yeah, it's like,
No.
damn, but you have
Scouting.
Pulsar Beam, bro.
Oh, that's right. Oh my god. But the thing is, I can like throw this on your SCVs and then chase them down with the pulsar beam now. They can't hide anymore. This is actually crazy. I can't even believe that. I feel like I want to just hang up on you and go play Heart of the Storm right now.
You gotta get to the top of the ladder, man.
Oh my
Number
god.
Um,
That's really cool. 60 seconds seems like a lot, doesn't
that
it?
does seem like a pretty...
Yeah.
I wonder why they...
30 seconds is too long.
They don't explain. They usually put like the thoughts on the balance update, and they haven't put the thoughts out yet. I really want to know what the thought is behind giving that another 30 seconds.
Maybe no one's using it because they just want to kill stuff.
So they're trying to see what happens when people use it or something.
Probably, yeah.
No, I think
Like,
it has a huge amount of utility. Like Artosis, I think you're definitely right to be very excited about it. But
Oh,
like
it's so good. It's so
almost none of the Protoss I play have ever used it, and they
just
almost
kill
always
shit.
an Oracle. Yeah, they always
I
just
used
like, fly an
like-
Oracle in, kill stuff, then the Oracle dies, or it just like sits around and does nothing for the rest of the game.
Oh, seriously, from now on, I will have one Oracle with my army no matter what. That is just, that is
It is so
actually, all my stupid jokes aside, that is like so good. I can't even imagine. Like, just always being able to just tag your infestors or something. I'm like, oh, look, it's infestors. Haha, now I know where they are for a minute.
Yeah.
Like, the kind of attacks I'll be able to pull off.
Wait,
because
does
of
it
that. It's
does it
insane.
follow things that are burrowed, MOOnGLaDe?
I'm assuming so. If they've got it already and
If
they
they've
borrow
got it on them, yeah.
I would definitely assume it would.
So, but the other ability is actually just a detector, right?
Revelation.
Yes,
It's like a scan,
I
basically.
think so. It's just like around the Oracle. It basically makes the Oracle an observer.
Oh, how long does that last?
I'll tell you right now. It
Sorry, I'm
lasts...
just right now, guys. I'm terrible.
Revelation lasts 60 seconds as well.
Okay, that's good. And then, yeah, Pulsar Cannon lasts exactly how long it takes to kill
Let's
all
talk
your
about
SCVs.
Pulsar Cannon, Dan. What do you think about Pulsar Cannon?
It does a lot of damage really quickly. But these guys already know that, man. Like,
Oh yeah.
the thing is, it is fragile, so the thing does die pretty
But you
quickly.
can get it so fast that like it's before
No,
anything good
it's-
is gonna kill it.
It's kind of silly when you have 2 or 3. Like, I just fly in and kill reactors and stuff. They just can't even. I guess you just have to make turrets.
Yeah.
You
And one can beat a
the-
queen one.
You put a turret in each mineral line and then group up all your Marines and defend the rest of your base with that. But it's still pretty tough if you make a little mistake and lose some Marines early on, or like the mothership core pressure does something, because it's 6 Marines beats an Oracle, which is a lot of Marines.
Beat 1 Oracle, wow.
Yeah, and 1 Oracle will easily beat 5 Marines.
Damn.
With combat shield or without?
That's actually really
No,
good.
without combat shield.
Without combat shield. Does that bump down to 4 or 3?
With Summon plus 3 QFC.
Yeah. You gotta know all the variables. By the way, David Kim did post some thoughts on the changes. I love the Oracle and Vision duration increase change. This one is to make the spell a bit more viable. End quote. That's all it says.
Well, he's going to be seeing it.
Yeah.
Tell David Kim to start watching the ladder games of LLLLLLLLL because he's going to start using it every game.
Oh, man.
To me, the vision change, that spell is like a spell that more intelligent players will use.
Oh.
And the Pulsar Beam is like the very obvious ability that you're like, oh my god, Oracle is really good, like it kills things. But like a smarter player, I'm thinking of someone like Mana, who is really going to sit down and think about the game and realize that if he has vision of his opponent's army for the rest of the game, he should have a tremendous advantage that isn't really rivaled in any way, in any place, in anywhere else in the game.
Dude, if you have 2 Oracles, you can forever have vision of your opponent's army. Think about that, because of the rate of mana regeneration, how cheap it is, and how long it lasts.
Yeah,
2 Oracles. 2 Oracles, map hack. So
I do want to clarify.
With a low cost of 300 minerals, 300 gas, and 4 supply,
Well,
you can have all the powers of spades with none of the bad qualities.
You probably.
Oh, God. I want to clarify. Apparently, we have the 2 abilities mixed up. And Vision is the detection, while Revelation is the Vision grant. But it doesn't matter because they're both 60 seconds, I think.
Right.
Mana-wise.
Wait, now you got to check. You might have just deflated my whole brain.
Oh.
So,
Okay, so-
Revelation is 75 mana, reveals enemy units and buildings within a single target area. Envision is 50 mana for 60 seconds, grants detection within the Oracle's sight range.
Oh,
okay.
guys.
So-
75 energy.
So it's the detector that got the buff,
Guys.
not the.
Oh, okay. That's alright.
But is it still 60 seconds for the other one?
Yes, they're both 60 seconds.
All
They're
right.
both 60?
I feel better
Envision
about
got
this.
buffed to 60, and Revelation was already 60.
Oh,
Yeah, it
okay.
sort of lasted a long time. Minigun did that to me. by
Look
the way.
at you. You were probably thinking, this is going to happen for twice as long. What?
It's like, yeah, it was a nightmare.
Oh, man. He was
Nails
giving
your
the press.
investor, and like 20 minutes later, you can't see anymore.
I was like gonna push, and like he gets my whole army with this thing, and I'm like, well, he can see me with his Tempest now, so I can't really attack him, and I just flat away, and like I gotta wait in my base for like a minute, so that shit goes away, and just flats him again.
There's no way to... I guess there's all you can do is wait or kill the unit, right?
Or just don't care that he can see your army, I guess. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
really hard. I wish there was a way to get rid of it. Like
Yeah, that's what I was
funky
just thinking. I was like, man, what if they gave a cleanse or something retarded to like the infestor or something?
Cleanse. You know what? Now we're starting to talk about Parasite and Restore from StarCraft 1. Let's
Oh,
not
yeah.
go down this road of spells that no one will ever use.
Well, let's talk about the Terran change in the latest patch came out earlier today. The Widowmine will now deal 125 plus 35 to shields, making it even more viable in yet another matchup in TVP. QXC, what do you think about the Widowmine?
I don't know. It's kind of a weird unit. It's a unit that punishes your opponent if they're really dumb and don't understand how it works. I haven't played enough against people who get the Widowmine. Like, when I play against someone who sits and lets their whole army get surrounded by Widowmines, and then I burrow and then I kill everything, like, it's very obviously going to be super strong. But some of the Zergs I've been playing against, they use a lot of roaches, they split them up, they know how to use overseers, they're good at sniping the Widowmines. And so I don't think both Terran players and the non-Terrans understand the unit well enough to get a good read on how powerful it's really going to end up being. With that being said, obviously a buff makes it more viable in TvP, and being able to one-shot units that have such fast regeneration is going to help it a tremendous amount. Like, usually what happens is you Widow Mine a Zealot or a Stalker, and you almost kill it, and then it regenerates all its shields, and then sometimes you kill it with the next Widow Mine, sometimes you don't, and so the effectiveness in general is really decreased there. Now that it's one-shotting Zealots and Stalkers and Oracles, they seem pretty good.
mOOnGLaDe, talk to me about the Widow Mine.
Well, first of all, yeah, the buff to it so it affects Protoss is cool. I mean, I understand that. It's good that it doesn't change anything with Zerg.
If he puts his hand in his face and talks about the
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think it gives Terran a very a good advantage early game in defense, because it's such a strong like defensive thing. It's like it can kill like 30 Zerglings in one hit if you fucking run into one and you're all grouped up.
Right.
And it can kind of like contain you or like stop you from getting a third if you've been a little like if you're using kind of like a Wings of Liberty build, which I've found is not really viable in Heart of the Swarm with like 6 queens and like slow overseers and whatnot. You're never going to get a third because they're just going to put a Widow Mine there and you're never going to kill it until you got overseers. So you get really late thirds and I'm kind of still getting used to it, but at the moment I find them to be very strong, very hard to deal with, and it can really slow down any kind of like pressure or push or rush or anything, because if you run over one and it hits your army, you're going to lose like half your army, especially if it's Zerglings or Mutalisks. And yeah, I feel like it makes Ling Muter way less viable against Terran.
Yeah,
simply because it just destroys flux of Muters and so many Lings in just one hit.
The Widow Mine in TVZ really eliminates a lot of strategic options by the Zerg, and it's an incredibly frustrating unit to play against. I've done a little bit of off-racing against Terran, and it's just, like, it actually just makes your life miserable.
It actually is very unpleasant. Very unpleasant to play against.
It's not just like you're losing the game, it's like you're losing the game in a way where you can't do anything. And
if you want to kill it, you're always going to have to take a hit, just about, unless you have like a Broodlord. So you're going to have to like run something in or fly something over it to take the hit, then you can safely kill it before it kills your army. So it's like, it just slows the game down completely for a Zerg until you have something that is going to kill it before it triggers. And what else was I going to say? Also, like, the tech that you need to get it is so easy to get that like it really doesn't put the Terran on any certain tech path. They can go bio and get mines, they can go mech, they can get mines. Like, in Brood War, you had to go vultures with mines, but you're obviously probably going to go mech, and it's probably going to be its Protoss, but it's kind of like, there's no direction. Like, it's just this thing that they can get like that, easy peasy at the start of every game, and they can build from there, and they can be greedy from there, and go any tech from there. So it gives them so many options that, I know it's very hard for a Zerg to deal with.
I've actually found that without drilling claws, the Widow Mine is largely not useful, unless you're just using it to zone out the map. But any kind of combat utility or like repositioning, if you don't have drilling claws, it's just too slow of a unit to be effective.
Isn't that okay, though? Because that reminds me of Zergling speed, where it's like, well, you can get some slow Zerglings early for some defense, just like you can burrow a Widow Mine at the top of your ramp against a 4-gate. Right. But if you really want to use this, get the upgrade.
Sorry, I wasn't trying to say that Widow Mines are bad, and I think the upgrade is a good thing to have in the game. It gives them greatly increased utility once you get the upgrade without making them ridiculous in the early game. This was more going off what mOOnGLaDe was saying, where he feels like early game Widow Mines are super strong, and I don't really agree with that. Like, there are builds that they're very good against, but if you do some kind of aggressive roach opener, you actually can't open Widow Mines because you won't have enough in time to defend any reasonable kind of pressure. And you can't reposition them effectively without the upgrade.
Right.
The as far as the buff goes, against Protoss. If I could jump to that. First off, it's racist. It should work against Marines with combat shields. Protoss aren't the only one with shields. It's ridiculous. But no, I don't know. It's one of my favorite things that I've done so far in Heart of the Swarm was like a micro battle with a Widow Mine in the area. Like, for instance,
For you or for him?
For him.
Okay.
Because I felt like that made me make a lot of interesting choices where it's like, well, okay, you have these stalkers and you're trying to do maximum damage in this area. There is a Widow Mine. It already shot me once. I know where it is. I know about the reload time. And that like makes for some really interesting micro where I'm like, is it worth it to stay here right now with no detection? Perhaps take another shot. Do I avoid this area? Do I send a unit in when I know it's reloaded to take the shot? I don't know. I like some of the parts of it. I don't know. It's still a funny thing to me that there's like something that burrows underground and has missiles in it that shoot into the air to kill things. Like,
Yeah.
It's kind of yeah.
it's kind of weird.
The lore behind
like,
it's a little bit different. What is the recharge time on it without the upgrade, QXC?
The upgrade only affects the amount of time it takes to burrow.
Oh, okay.
And I want to say that the recharge time is 40 seconds.
The reason I ask, do you think we'll get to a time where someone will get hit by it and then they'll know for 40 seconds and they'll watch the clock on their UI?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe, probably not right away, obviously, but
This
down
is
the line.
definitely, like, sometimes you're just in a position where you have a Widow Mine is burrowed in a place you're not really, like, an uncomfortable place. And for whatever reason, you're not going to have detection for the next detonation. So let's just say, for example, you do gas first, proxy factory, land the factory in their base, you build a Widow Mine, land it next to the probe line. They probably aren't going to have detection in time, and so the first time it burrows, you pull all your probes away and you send one as a sacrifice. And then while you're waiting for your detection, you watch the clock. When it gets to 38 seconds, you pull all your probes away and you send another probe as a sacrifice. Besides that, I think there's probably too much going on in the game in general to keep track, like past early game situations.
Sure. Have you, QXC, have you been using Ravens more with Seeker Missile at all, or no?
Kind of. Like, they're much stronger now, and they have a lot of utility. The gas requirement is still a huge problem, especially, like, if you're going bio, when you're on 2 bases with 4 gases, you're spending 3/4 of your gas on medevacs, which is a lot of gas. Even on 3 bases with 6 gas, you're still spending half of your gas on medevacs. And so it seems really difficult to transition into Ravens off of a bio build until you get to some kind of late game situation or you get 4 or more bases. But they definitely synergize well with the Terran army, just like it's extra damage, it's extra free damage, and it seems really strong right now.
For extra free damage.
Extra free damage, yeah.
Zerga's extra free units. What do we have with Protoss that's extra and free?
Vision.
Master
Yeah, you've got a lot of vision.
Wait, no, Terran has that too. No, next.
I have a lot of Protoss units here. I was trying to figure out which ones now get one shot by Widow Mine. Surprisingly, a lot.
What
of
gets
them.
one shot?
All the gateway units, plus the Oracle.
Really?
Every single one, huh?
Holy
No,
shit.
except for the Archon. I don't know if you count that.
Count.
That doesn't
If you
matter,
were one
bro.
shot Archon with anything, I'd quit.
EMP.
I'm like EMP, Dan. It's there. I guess.
No, it does. It does on 100 damage to the Archon. That's it.
Used
It's
to,
not-
in the good days.
Oh man.
yeah, and the
Have you
good
been
days,
using,
okay. Yeah, no, that was fun, QXC, when you just EMP my shit and I lost. That was great.
Have you used Hellbat drops? QXC?
Yeah, this was where I was going next. What about? We're just all ganging up on QXC here. What about the
Come on,
Hellbat
QXC.
drops? What about the Hellbat
Yeah.
drops, QXC? How unbroken are those?
I don't know, they're pretty strong.
Oh, they're pretty strong.
They're pretty strong, yeah. What do you want me to say about them?
This is why you gotta open it with Oracle so you can hunt down that medevac before it gets there.
Oracles don't
Yeah.
attack air.
Oh, crap.
You're fucked, man.
You can tell I haven't played much yet. Why would I attack air when there's like other stuff to kill? So that's why I couldn't kill Overlords with those. Oh, God.
So what is it about the Hellbat? We'll throw it to mOOnGLaDe here that makes it such a ridiculously good unit.
Well, it's very tanky. It does like area of effect in front of it. Does a lot of damage. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Like, it can just be dropped in very quickly with a medivac with the booster thing going off.
So it's
Okay.
4 per medevac, yeah?
Quick noob question.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Because they've changed this a lot of times. Like, can you just automatically change between Hellion and Hellbat?
Yeah, but it takes
Yep.
it's like a Viking change basically. Oh, sorry,
Okay.
you need an armory to do it.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
you-
know. Can you build a Hellbat straight out of the, like? Can you basically hit a Hellbat timing drop at the same time as a Hellion timing drop, or is it slightly slower because of
it's-
the?
Probably slightly slower.
It's pretty
Okay.
close. The difference is
Very
before
fast.
you could do like a 1 gas Hellion drop.
Yeah.
There's no way to do a Hellbat drop off 1 gas
Okay. Okay.
unless you want to delay it.
And
by
there's no upgrade. Like you just
no,
get
no,
the
no.
upgrade.
It's armory finishes. Hellbat mode is researched.
Okay. Cool.
Um,
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead with your conversation. Thanks, guys.
Oh, I was going to talk about. I think the Hellbat, like you said, it was tanky. It's tanky for a Terran unit, but it's not actually like any more tanky than. It's actually less tanky than a Roach and less tanky than a Zealot.
They actually beat roaches.
I'm pretty sure that's wrong.
No, they're very effective at fighting roaches. I'll tell you that. And but
I've
you
heard
do
this
need-
from more than one person.
Yeah,
Just,
it's like
just to
in
gang
a-
up
like
on
a
QXC
mech
one more time.
in a mech army, they'll always like mass Hellbats and then tanks and Thors and Ravens and Vikings and have this awesome army. But anyway,
So
you
a
do-
Roach beats a Hellbat 1-on-1.
I'm not
case
entirely
you're
sure
wondering.
about
Well,
that. Okay,
guys,
But,
I don't know how many times we're going to see that
splash
battle.
damage. Splash damage will
Yes.
definitely change it. after
I
that.
actually think the biggest thing about the Hellbat, why it's so strong, is because you have medevac speed boost, which makes all those drops, like, your reaction time has to be much, much faster than it would have been otherwise.
Yeah.
And then you give a unit with a reasonable amount of health, pretty good damage output, and then you give it splash damage. So all of a sudden it just, like, kills worker.
Yeah, it's
And
like it's the hardest thing in the world is trying to kill those things with a medivac, healing them, and you only have like queens and zerglings. So you really need to have like roach tech or spine crawlers or something a little bit extra. to deal with.
But you should be able to see a 1-base Hellion drop coming. Like, it's the same thing in Wings of Liberty. If they don't expand, you don't just sit on queens and zerglings. Like, you do things because they're going to attack you.
Yeah.
To me, what it feels like is Zerg players don't understand how strong they are. And I'm not saying like this is a fault of Zerg players. It's just there's a new unit and its power level is yet to be determined. And so when you're like you scout that the Terran players on 1 base and you're like, well, how much do I actually need to commit to defense? Is it 1 spine? Is it 2 spines? Do I have to like give up a base? Is it that strong?
Yeah.
But
And
the
then
unit
make-
is really good.
Yeah, I
make
still
two
think there's
spines
lots
and-
Yeah, it's. I mean, I still have a long way to go. I'm not gonna lie. This is just from my experiences, and my fellow Siegans have been playing the pods, and we've all been chatting about it. I don't know. I just went over that.
That's so cute.
But yeah, it's strong, but I do think I have a lot of figuring out to do. So it's definitely not the be all end all.
mOOnGLaDe, have you won a ZVT where the Terran goes mech?
Yes, but I was kind of just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do a roach drop, and I just fastest roach drop I could do, and I got him before he had like anything. Like
Mech
he,
is...
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
So, no, you can. I'm
I
done.
was just gonna say mech is so much better now.
Ugh.
With like the Hellbats synergize really well with the mech army just because they're something. It's like you take the 90 health Hellions that you used to use to tank, and then you give them 45 more health each, and
Yeah.
you give them like better splash
That's
damage and higher damage.
50% more health.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a lot more health. It's very.
They do a
significant.
lot of damage against. They pretty much do a lot of damage against everything. Like before
Anything
it was
they
just
can-
Hellions. Like you'd be like, okay, they're Hellions. They're gonna like take forever to kill a hatchery, but Hellbats is like, shit. There's 4 Hellbats sitting in my hatchery. I gotta save that thing now,
Yeah.
or it's gonna die.
It's
That's how
it's-
quickly they kill them.
it's like a little bit weaker than a zealot in terms of damage output. I think.
Yeah, it's really.
You
something
can
else.
definitely, like, mech now, you can do things like take 10 Hellions, and normally you would just use them to kill drone lines, and you just run up to an expansion and turn them all into Hellbats, and then just kill the expansion instead of killing the drone.
Yeah, it's sick.
Someone in chat is saying, how much would it change Hellbats if you made them not healable?
Not healable?
Yeah.
I think it changes mostly the all-ins. I don't think it changes their general utility in the mid-game. Except maybe against Protoss.
But overall, they're still very strong.
Yeah, like, what if they just were mechanical? Because if they're supposed to be a mech unit, they come out of the factory. Can you repair a Hellbat as well, or do you have to turn back into a Hellion?
I think so.
You can.
So they're one of these.
Yeah, they're mechanical.
Can you do them both at the same time? Can you repair it and heal it?
Good.
Presumably.
That'd be sick, man.
Well, damn, JP, you just gave away the next GSL winner strategy, man.
Oh, I'm just trying to think of the imbalance, man.
Oh, that's kind
We
of
should
crazy.
start a show about it, Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smart ass.
You can do both at the same time.
Oh,
in case you're
interesting.
wondering. I'm just sitting in a unit tester right now for all your.
All the random ass questions.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right, hold on. I want to know. Wait, what are you gonna say, mOOnGLaDe?
No, I was going to change the subject. You go.
I was gonna change it too.
You
What
go
were
first.
Change it too. Okay.
I was just going to ask about Reapers, but you go first.
I wanted to ask about this fungal growth change, the projectile speed going down further. Now,
15
I
to
haven't
12
played
for
against
those of
that
you.
many infestors yet in Heart of the Storm. Is the projectile easily dodgeable right now?
No, I wouldn't say that. I think it's
It
like if
pretty
it's-
much hits.
If it's a good hit, if it's like a good hit, like an edge of an army or something, it hit it.
Wait, but
Okay.
have you
Before
played
this patch.
even with the newest patch? Or are you saying before
I haven't
that?
played. I mean, like before this patch.
Oh.
But with this patch, I don't know. I have to see it to really judge it.
Yeah,
I
because
think
this
there's-
is
I
this
think
is
there's-
20% slower, right? This is 20% slower.
I guess you could start baiting them a lot more.
1/5.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's 20%.
I think it's a lot more dodgeable right now. I'm just like casting it.
Well, anytime I see like a 20% decrease in speed, like I don't know what these speeds mean right this time because I haven't really paid that much attention to infestors yet in HOTS, but a 20% decrease, I feel like, well, I'm going to be able to walk my queen out of the way of that thing, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's like the speeds here are all like it's the same movement speed that your units use. So to give you a reference, a Phoenix has speed 4.25.
Okay,
So it's roughly 3 times faster than a Phoenix.
okay, so if like my Phoenixes are like barely in range of a fungal, I can get away now, is what this is saying.
Probably. I'm not really sure.
Good, so
Well,
you
it
test
matters
it.
how quickly you move. I move in the wrong direction, like, oh, QXC said this would work.
The other change, real quick, we'll get off the patch changes here after this. The Spore Crawler change is just basically for ZVZ and Mutas, right?
I don't
Yeah.
think it affects anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except in
How that's
2v2
gonna
where you
fly.
graviton beam your opponent's units and then use your allies' spore crawlers to attack them.
Have you, Dan? Have you messed around with Void Rays at all in the beta?
A little bit.
Do they seem infinitely better to you than they used to be?
They didn't until I watched Parting use them against bunkers, and then I was like, oh,
Yeah.
because they killed
They
them
seem
really
incredible, man.
Yeah, well, I've been starting to look at like what do these actually do extra damage to,
Uh-huh.
and like they're gonna be killing a lot of stuff, like a lot of stuff. Like corruptors are armored, so they get that bonus against corruptors, and I mean,
Well, has anyone done? Sorry to interrupt, but this
Oh.
is on topic. I swear. Void Ray Colossus against you.
Against
Moonglade?
Moonglade?
Yeah.
Oh, me.
Void Ray Colossus.
No. They've done a lot of like Tempest, Void Ray, Storm, Stalker, Colossus.
Some.
Oracle.
I'm just asking. Some of the Zergs that I talked to have said like Void Ray Colossus is the most imba. Whatever.
Do you remember back in the day when it used to be like around? It used to be like. I think it was
Yeah,
Void Ray Colossus. The
you
Death
should
Balls,
remember because his
Yeah.
teammate Paul Cruncher made his entire career off of those two units.
yeah. I haven't actually. I can't say I've fought that exactly because I don't know how. Like a lot of my games have been like beaters and shit, so they end up going really late game with Storm, and I got to deal with Tempest. But yeah, Void Ray seemed really freaking strong against Corruptors now.
Yeah, imagine that if you went back to exactly that, because they actually, a part of the reason Fungal got buffed against Armored and just buffed overall was to help deal with Void Ray Colossus, because
Oh. Uh-oh. Dan, you're cutting out real bad.
And
Can't hear me. I think he's gone. Oh, maybe that's just me. All right, on the local record, we'll be right back. It looks like the internet is dropping, so I will be right back, guys. Don't go anywhere. We'll have some more State of the Game here in just a little bit. All right, sorry about that. We are back. What were we talking about there before we got cut
We were
off?
talking about wonder analysis, and you see way, and that's part of the reason why it so was to deal just with because just make like and enough cloth there, and that would be filter time would be easy. I muted.
No, I think we might just have to end the show. Which sucks. But I can't do anything about it. I think we're just gonna end the show. It sucks, But it gives us more to talk about next week once these guys have more time to play the game. So we will see you guys next week. I apologize for the shout-outs. Dan, TT Esports, shout-outs mOOnGLaDe to everyone in Australia and his orchestra showing going on. When is that going on, mOOnGLaDe, if you can still hear me? That's not going to work. What else can I do here? The orchestra showing, you can go, I'll put something in the description for that. For QXC, you can go check out complexitygaming.com and all of their sponsors. I know Creative is one of them. Sound Blaster is one of them. That's the same thing, actually. Some more stuff. Go check out their stuff. Thanks to everyone for coming on. We got Real Talk with Sir Scoots on Tuesday, and then State of the Game will be back next Wednesday at 10 o'clock Eastern. But other than that, sucks. I had to end the show, but I can't control that. So we'll see you guys next week. I apologize once again. I'm out. Peace. Oh, wrong song.